Coming to you live from our Eros Park studios, this is Primetime News. Many thanks for joining me for the Tuesday edition. I'm Michael Madimba. In our lead story tonight, we focus on the Namibia Student Financial Assistance Fund, NSFAF. According to the Acting Chief Executive Officer, Kennedy Kandume, the fund has begun its litigation process and has already served demand letters to about 500 defaulters whose names have been forwarded for blacklisting. Kandume further revealed that approximately 132,000 loan beneficiaries, including prominent Namibians, owe the fund approximately 9 billion Namibian dollars since its inception in 1999. Let's listen to his full statement.
It should be noted that we are going to take steps that we mentioned previously. We had been on the record as saying we are going to take those who are failing to pay through the litigation process or to court. That process has now started. Those who owe us, they have received, most of them, they have received up to 3 demand letters. We are following the credit management to the core, which dictated that a debtor need to be served to the demand up to 3 times. We have done so. What is next is for us to take a serious action, and that serious action is now to take those who owe us through the litigation process for the fund to recover in the interest of other Namibians, as I mentioned.
The spokesperson of the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, Romeo Muyunda, has appealed to members of the public to report any incidents of human-wildlife conflict instead of resorting to vigilante actions. Muyunda made these remarks while providing an update on a recent poaching incident in the Moyako area. We have more information on this incident in the following insert.
The team spoke to the villagemen who had vowed to really look into finding the responsible person. However, he made reference to the fact that there are human-wildlife conflict cases involving hippos that are taking place in the area, which may be the result or the cause of the people taking the law into their own hands, which we do not encourage as a ministry. Where we emphasize the fact that when there is any incidences of human-wildlife conflict, such incidences must be reported either to the ministry or to the Conservancy so that they are able to be dealt with in an amicable manner without people taking the law into their own hands. So in this regard, the meat that was discovered from the hippo was taken from the Moyako community. It was distributed to a Kwe community that is about 25 kilometers west of Katima Mulilo. The community there is in a destitute situation. They are a vulnerable community since they are part of the San community. Most of them, or over 90% of that community does not work, and therefore it was deemed necessary that we do assist them with the meat. The meat was distributed there, and the community really appreciated the gesture by the ministry.
Moving on. Rundu Rural Constituency Councillor Paulus Mbangu has expressed his disappointment and the lack of impact that the population and housing census has had on the 2 Kavango regions for the past 33 years. Our regional correspondent Sawi Hausiku compiled this report.
Rundu Rural Constituency Councillor Paulus Mbangu said in 1991, 1993 and 1994, the National Planning Commission carried out the population and housing census as well as the income and expenditure surveys, with both indicating that the Kavango regions are the poorest in Namibia, but the budget allocation from government was contrary to those statistics. Mbangu said if the results of the next census do not influence the budget allocation, the public will lose interest in government and the NSA as well. NSA Executive of Economic Statistics Abel Sindano said the role of the NSA is to produce official statistics not for themselves, but to inform policymakers to ensure that they base their decisions on the results. He said he agrees that there has to be emphasis on using statistics for planning.
On a somber note, the Namibian police force in the Kavango East region recovered the body of an 11-year-old girl who drowned after the canoe she was in capsized in Mohopi village on Monday. Once again, our correspondent Sawi Hausiko has more on the tragic incident.
Nampol Crime Investigations Coordinator in the region, Deputy Commissioner Bonifatius Kanyotu, told Nampa on Tuesday 3 minor children, aged 13, girl, 11 boy, and the 11-year-old victim were traveling from Angola back to Namibia via canoe. He explained that the 3 children went to Angola on Sunday to visit relatives there. She could not be found that day, however the search for her continued on Monday and her body was retrieved around 1300 hours. The deceased was identified as Stephanie Nangura Kangoro and her next of kin were informed. Her body was taken to the Rundu State Hospital mortuary and police investigations into the matter continue.
Your top roundup is up next. Welcome to Primetime Biz, where business and economics take center stage. In our lead story tonight, the Namibia IPC Acute Food Insecurity Report has projected a worsening food security situation in Namibia between January and March 2023. Now, according to Agribank's monthly Market Watch report issued earlier today, this projection coincides with the last and second half of Namibia's lean season. Approximately 390,000 people are expected to experience high levels of acute food insecurity during this period. More details in this report.
The Kavango East, Kavango West, Kunene, Omaheke, Oshikoto and Ochazonjuba regions have the majority of people who are in food crisis. The report noted that the tight labor market, high food and fuel costs have further derailed food security. The monthly Market Watch report further said Namibia's inflation stood at 7.0% in January 2023 from 4.6% recorded in the same period in 2022, with transport and food remaining the major contributing factors. Food and non-alcoholic beverages surged to 14.0% in January 2023, up from 5.6% in January 2022. Food inflation is predominantly attributed by prices of bread and cereals, which surged by 22.3% in January 2023 from 3.8% in January 2022.
On a cautionary note, mobile telecommunications giant MTC has issued a warning to the public to ignore any social media posts claiming to provide instructions on how MTC customers can register their SIM cards using a short code to avoid long queues. We have more details on this warning in the following insert.
MTC in a statement on Tuesday said it is not possible to complete the required SIM registration process via SMS using the short code *68966# as indicated in a social media post. Registration can only be done in person by MTC SIM registration representatives at mobile homes or during one of the company's mobile field campaigns. MTC said it had been made aware of a social media post that advised users to avoid long lines by registering their SIM cards by dialing the short code *68966#. It said while the short code is an MTC code, it is used for a service provided by MTC known as Electronic Voucher, e-voucher. Customers register for this service by dialing the short code *68966# according to the statement and are given access to the MTC e-voucher registration platform. Where they can become online airtime resellers, the platform is only intended for use by third-party dealers who sell MTC airtime online.
That concludes our top news segment for this evening. Up next, we have the economics roundup followed by a comprehensive weather forecast. Welcome to Sport Planet. According to reports, Spain and Portugal are set to bolster their joint bid to host the 2030 FIFA World Cup by including Morocco. The Spanish sports paper Diario AS has stated that negotiations have been ongoing between the parties, with a formal agreement expected to be signed at the 73rd FIFA Congress in Rwanda on Thursday. Now, Spanish Football Federation President Luis Rubiales traveled to Morocco on Monday to meet with Fouzi Lekia, the president of the Royal Moroccan Football Federation, to finalize details of the agreement. In Champions League news, the second leg of the Real Madrid versus Liverpool last 16 tie takes place on Wednesday at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. Real Madrid, the reigning champions, are the clear favourites to progress after a convincing 5-2 win against Liverpool in last season's final. However, Liverpool will be hoping to salvage some pride in their last game before the international break. Although it would be a miracle for Liverpool to overturn a 3-goal deficit, Madrid should not be complacent, as Liverpool could cause some nervous moments if they remain focused on the task at hand. We will have more updates on this highly anticipated match in our sports segment on the morrow. Your sports roundup is up next. With that, we've reached the end of tonight's broadcast. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow for the latest updates on local, continental, and global news. On behalf of myself, Michael Medimba, and the entire team behind the scenes, it's good night.